And the Emmy Award for Best Couch-Related Pop Culture Series goes to Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. Really? Welcome to Couch Surfing, the show where Emmy-nominated guests look back at their big roles, their little roles, and everything in between. In honor of the 2019 Emmy Awards, this week we're surfing through past guests whose performances and projects are nominated for TV's biggest night. Henry Winkler's biggest role may have been The Fonz, but he finally had his happy day when he won the Emmy for his role in the HBO series Barry. This marks his second year being nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. And earlier this year, we sat down with the TV legend and talked about the joy of playing Gene Cousineau and his iconic Emmy speech from last year's ceremony. Take a look.
Under the bed.
This show has such a wild premise.
Yes.
What did you make of the script when you first read through it?
It was like reading Kashmir.
That is so beautifully said.
And it is the truth.
That's so poetic.
Then you get to act with all these people. Bill is wonderful to work with.
You guys have a genuine and palpable chemistry.
It's true. That is true.
Mm-hmm. What is the vibe like on set?
First of all, there are no idiots.
That's fantastic.
They went out of their way to hire human beings that are just ensemble-loving human beings. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Number two, they have a clear vision of what they want. Alec Berg and Bill Hader.
You are living proof that it gets greater later. I mean, you were in your early 70s when you won your first Emmy
that's true.
For this role.
It is true. This is Mr. Winkler's 9,000th nomination, his first win. I walk up on the stage, and there are the two stars of The Crown. I almost missed making the speech because I walked up to them. They are holding their statue to give it to me. And I started to, your second season was so great. Because Stacey and I were watching it. And then I thought, you have to make a speech.
Right.
I turn around, I've got 37 seconds left.
Time's ticking.
Time was up.
Living the same day over and over again can be hard work, especially if you're acting, writing, and producing at the same time. But Natasha Lyonne makes it easy in her hit series Russian Doll. She's been recognized with nominations in 3 categories this year. But long before she was searching for answers in the East Village, she was looking behind the walls of this childhood playhouse. Check it out.
Aww, Pee-wee's Playhouse. Look at that. Literally nothing has changed. I'm wearing the same glasses. Same exact hairdo, same glasses.
I love that you found your style so early, and you're like, this is working. I'm gonna keep rocking with it.
This is who I am. I love this show. This was like my child actor job that was really fun.
Well, how did a 6-year-old find herself in Pee-wee's Playhouse?
I just, I walked around the city with my little briefcase, looking for gigs. And nothing makes me feel like legitimately cool quite so much as the fact that I was on this show.
Yes.
I have such warmth for that show, except.
What happened? Tell me.
I'm going to tell you one anecdote.
The dark side of the Playhouse.
I'm going to take these off their prescription, by the way.
Okay.
I'm not just insane, even though I am. But yeah, the one dark story about Pee-wee's Playhouse was the day that we had to eat ice cream soup. You could only imagine how excited I was because I'm like 6 years old.
Right.
And then the ice cream soup was actually just like weird, like, movie chalk substance.
Oh, no.
And I remember being a child and being so perplexed by that giant lie as I saw it, which was like, where's my ice cream soup? Why am I eating like dirt sand?
Oh.
And I can still taste it.
Tony Hale has tangled with many commanding female characters over the course of his career. There's Lucille Bluth, there's Selena Meyer, and earlier this year, I showed him who was boss on this very couch. Here's Tony talking about his 2-time Emmy-winning performance as Gary Walsh on HBO's political parody Veep. Check it out.
Hey, I'm sorry this isn't the presidential suite, man.
Oh, it doesn't matter, Gary.
Now this, okay, so what just happened was she walked through a plate glass window, okay? And she's always abusive to me on this show. Okay?
Yeah, that would be the understatement of the year.
But she started, I had clearly dropped a few in this season, but she had just taken St. John's wort, and so she was totally loopy and really kind. And Gary was like, I like this, Selena.
The series just ended.
Yeah.
And didn't quite work out so well for old Gary.
Well, I won't spoil it, but
Go ahead.
okay. So he goes to jail.
I don't care about their feelings.
And the way, okay. And then I can see like the first 5 years in jail, he's probably like, oh, she's coming back.
Right.
And then he realizes she's not coming back. And then he spent the next 15 years trying to rework, you know, what just happened.
I couldn't help but think of Michael Cohen. There were just these.
What's crazy is there's been
weird-
so many moments in the show that they'll do something and then it will happen in real life or just like something like it. And you're like, it kind of scared the writers a little bit. It's like we're worried what to write, worried that something like this is going to happen. But also, CNN was its own political sitcom. You know, it's just kind of like, do we need Veep anymore?
This year marks Niecy Nash's third Emmy nomination, this time for her fierce performance in the critically acclaimed miniseries When They See Us. This dynamic actress consistently gives it her all, whether it be comedy, drama, or somewhere in between. When she stopped by the couch, we brought her back to her very first role, and even then, she was the Niecy Nash we know and love. Check it out.
Oh my.
So you just received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but this is where it all began.
Can I tell you something about this?
Yes, tell me everything about it.
Okay, here are the facts.
I love facts.
There was a different line that I was coming out to say. Every time I came out to say it, Whoopi Goldberg started laughing. The director started getting frustrated because she did it over and over. I go back in the bathroom. I start praying, Lord, please don't let her laugh again because I need this job. I come back out. She laughs again. The line was just ridiculous.
What was the line?
I don't remember, but let me tell you what I do remember. And hold, stop, everybody wait, please, excuse me, time out, cut. And everybody was like, oh my God, who is this young girl yelling cut? Because you're not supposed to do that.
No.
And the director said, what is the problem? I said, sir, I just need to say something. She is the one who is messing up the scene. And Whoopi was like, no, you didn't. And I said, yes, I did, girl, because they ain't going to fire you. And so I told him that the line was dumb and people don't talk like that. And he said, well, what do you want to say? I said, well, if it was me, I would be like, girl, is that your friend in the bathroom? Child, she in there throwing up. He goes, Edith, we're changing the line. And Whoopi said, you go, girl. Wow. And we changed the line in the movie. And
the rest
that
is
was
history.
my first good get.
I love it. That is a great story.
True. These are facts. Call Whoopi, somebody.
Your girl's throwing up in the bathroom, Whoopi.
That part.
That part. Okay. Jane Lynch is nominated for the second year in a row for her guest role as comedian Sophie Lennon on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. But she also stole our hearts and our school spirit in her first Emmy-winning performance as Sue Sylvester in Glee. Here's Jane singing the praises of her time spent at McKinley High. Check it out.
Hey, Sylvester, I'm talking to you.
Oh, hey, buddy. I thought I smelled failure.
Why'd you take the piano when it was my time up with the kids?
Properly steamed, clean piano is key to any successful music group.
Okay, so that, do you see mouthfuls of lines?
Yes.
That was the biggest challenge, but it was the most fun. And how I had to clear camera exactly at that moment. Sometimes it was so hard.
Why were Jane Lynch and Sue Sylvester such a great fit?
I think because you only have to scratch this much to get to the Sue Sylvester in me.
Really?
I can be, yeah. I have a quick temper, and now that I've had some therapy, I know what this comes from. Is it's protecting a soft heart. And I think Ian Brennan is the guy who wrote most of my dialogue, and we're kind of the same person in a way. He has this really dark side of him, and but you would never know it to sit down with him because he's a really nice, light guy. But he said his earliest memory is watching his mother load the dishwasher with the knives facing up and thinking, why don't I just throw her on top of this? I was like, what?
Wow.
And I know his mother. She's a doll. She's a sweetheart. But he has this dark part of him.
I would call that a dark
Yeah,
side.
dark.
I would definitely call that a dark
dark.
side. Drunk History has been knocking back the laughs for 7 seasons on Comedy Central. And with its 5th consecutive nomination for Outstanding Variety Series, there's no hangover in sight. Comedy legend and Emmy winner Louie Anderson stopped by to talk about his lip-syncing portrayal of Winston Churchill on the series. And let's see what he had to say from his very own lips. Check it out.
Churchill looks at Alonzo Fields, the White House butler, and says, I have a few orders.
Okay.
In the morning before breakfast,
Drunk history.
tumbler of sherry.
You
So
know,
this show's creator, Derek Waters, is a huge fan of yours.
He
and he
is.
asked you to be on this show.
he did. I love him.
You're playing Winston Churchill.
And I look like him, I think.
You do. You
Don't
nailed
you?
it.
Look at it. That looks like Churchill, you know, before he got all old and that.
Who
but
needed
that was,
Gary Oldman to win the Oscar when
yeah,
you
well,
were
good
right
for
there?
him, though. Yeah, it's so true.
I mean,
So true. Who hasn't played Churchill is what I want to know. Everybody. But this was so much fun.
you're playing Battleship.
Playing Battleship. I got to put Hitler in a headlock in it.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool.
That's a drop the mic moment
Yeah,
right there.
that was.
Thanks for surfing down Emmy Lane with us. You can catch me live on the red carpet September 22nd from 6 to 8 p.m. right here on People TV. See you next week on Couch Surfing. Bye.